Hello and welcome to the Should You Buy for the Dervish. We're going to take a look at the mech. We're going to its hard points, its stats, its hitboxes based on the concept art, and we're going to make an appraisal of whether or not you should be purchasing this mech. Continuing on down here, we've got all of the standard packages as they are. The Ultimate being $70, which is just everything all added together with 60 days of active premium time. Standard is $20. It comes with the 3 basic variants of the 6M, 7D, and 8D. 30 days of active premium time. The Collector's Pack is the exact same as the Standard, except the premium time is doubled, and we get a version of the 6M Special with a special paint job and 30% additional C-bills, which is quite nice. The Hero is an additional $15. It is the Frenzy. And the reinforcements are another $15 with the 6MR and the 7P. We'll take a look at the Hero and the reinforcements, see if they're something you want to additionally invest into. And as I'll always say, $70 pack, which is just everything added together with no extra bonuses, would be nice if there was some additional in-game things here, maybe a 1250 pack of MC alongside of this. That would make that a little bit nicer of a $70 purchase. Here, this is the price for a full AAA game on Steam, but you're spending it on in-game content for our game, so here's a little additional thing for you. And that's what I'd like to see out of this. But anyway, let's take a look at the mech specs. We've got a 55-ton Inner Sphere battle mech. Comes with a stock engine of 275, which puts it at 81 kilometers an hour. However, you can get up to a 360, and that engine rating is all the way across, so every single one of them has the same top speed. We have 5 jump jets for every single one, so we got plenty of jumps if we need it. No ECM, and no mask on any of them. So let's go take a look at the Spreadsheet Warrior right here. So you got the Dervish, 55 tons, and you're going to take XLs or lights because it's Inner Sphere medium. You're not really taking standard on it because you don't really need to. If you're taking standard, it's because you're an assault mech that is taking heavy GOS or something along those lines. No other really mech should take standard these days, as you can just take light and get the vast majority of the durability with weight savings. So, for XL, we have the breakpoints of 255. We got 280, 300, 325, and 350, which these are heat sink breakpoints, along with 255 and 280 being weight breakpoints that are that little bit heavier, the little bit higher rating without actually being heavier than the 5 rating before them. So a little bit extra speed for free. For light engines, the 250 is the breakpoint, whereas 255, instead of being 15.5, is actually 16. So it's a little bit heavier, where the XL, that is not the case. But 280 is the same for both. I'm going to predict that majority of the designs on this mech will be probably a 280-ish. I would think 250 to 300, with the majority of them being 280s. That's just where you're getting decent mobility. You're getting 82.5 kilometers without speed tweak, which is enough to keep up with those rotations, those NASCARs, the potato rotato, and are able to not be left in the dust. If you have that tweaked out, it's 88.7, but all you have to do is just go up to, say, the next class here, go up to, say, 300, and you get that 88, exact same amount as if you speed tweaked the previous one, but, it's good. That's enough speed. 80-something is fine for a medium, if you're using it properly. If you want to go that a little bit faster and be more like a light in terms of your playstyle, then you're going to have to invest up to, say, 325 to get 95.7, in which case you can be a little bit more reactive and a little bit more flanky to your opponents. Assuming Endo, because Endo is always a great weight saver for its slots, and assuming light Pharaoh, because if you take full-on Pharaoh here, you can see your available slots goes down to practically nothing. You can't really get by on like 14-ish slots for a mech of this weight class. So you kind of need light or even standard. you're most likely going to be seeing around an XL 280 or maybe say a light 250, 280. So 23 tons is going to be on your low end of tonnage for this mech, with 25.5 for a light 250, and for a XL 280, which is what I've based the majority of my designs around, we have 27 tons, which shave a little bit of armor to get 27.5. So that works out quite nicely. These are battle mechs, so we look at them vertically, as we cannot change their hard points like an Omni-mech can. So let's take a look first at the 3 standard variants. We have the Dervish 6M. Now, just as a preface, for all the Dervishes, they are extremely similar. It is mass, energy, and missiles. It's just every single one of them is trading off a couple energy for a couple more missiles, or a couple missiles for a couple more energy, sort of thing. So a lot of the builds I have for this are very samey, and if several of the builds work on several different variants. So we're going to go through these actually pretty quickly. We're going to touch on the differences between them. So the 6M will be our base. It has a total of 4 energy and 4 missile, 2 energy in each arm, 1 missile in each arm, and 1 missile in each side torso. Take a look at a possible build for it. Very simple. It's a Brawl SRM laser design. We have 4 SRM 6s spread out across the mech. We have a couple medium lasers on each arm, an XL 280, some ammo. It might be a little light on ammo as we only get 20 shots. That's prior to any bonuses we get from the skill tree. So you may want to cut this heatsink for an additional set of ammo. Depends on what you want to do. Currently, the heat efficiency is 37%. If you cut that and throw in an additional ammo, you're at 34%. It's totally manageable, but just a little bit hotter. And then you get an additional 5 shots there of ammo, up to 25 volleys. So this is probably what it's going to be like, 5 tons of ammo-ish. We have a pair of jump jets. That's all you really need. You don't need all 5 because you're not going to be leaping any tall buildings. You're going to be using these to help you maneuver around on maps such as Canyon Network to get you out of the canyon and across and into the next area over so you can continue with your flank. So this mech will be like, get up and over the canyon, get into the outer rim of it, run along that to flank out and try to find, say, a direwolf or annihilator that has been left behind by the team as they're rotating, and eat it up with your SRM 6s. That's the kind of thing this will be. Next up will be the 7D. This one trades off a couple energy, 1 from each arm, for an additional missile in the arm. So essentially swaps around the numbers for energy and missile in the arm. 2 energy, 1 in each arm, 6 missile, 2 in each arm, and 1 in each side torso. So in order to properly use the 6 missile, you kind of need to drop it back to SRM 4s. You could do SRM 6s on this if you want to do 6 SRM 6. It is physically possible. You're going to have to go into an XL engine, which increases your, decreases your durability because you can only lose 1 side torso before you die. And it's a little hot, but I think that 6 SRM 4... it's the same amount of missiles, the same amount of upfront damage as 4 SRM 6 because it's just flipping the numbers around. However, it's got higher DPS because the SRM 4s have a cooldown of 3, while the SRM 6s have 3.75. So you are getting the same amount of damage, but you're pumping it out more often, so that our average damage of 6.81 DPS is higher than the other build at 6.25. So a little bit better. We're trading the missiles we're trading a couple medium lasers for more DPS in our missiles. You take a little bit more damage because you're able to move into a light engine with this, because you're saving tonnage. You don't have Artemis. So SRM 4s are probably tight enough that they don't need Artemis. It's nice, but if you're going with mass launchers, like we have 6 of them, putting on Artemis is 6-ton investment, and that is a lot. That's more than 10% of this mech's weight. So it's significant to get Artemis on this mech. So probably 6 SRM 4s. That's probably what I would run on this thing with a couple medium lasers for backup. Moving on to the next mech, we have the 8D. Again, very similar to the first one. Actually has the same amount of hard points. We've got 4 energy, 2 in each arm, and 4 missile, 2 in each side torso. So it's the exact same amount of hard points as the first one. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, for the 7D, you can do this kind of build on a mech that exists currently with a Bushwhacker P1. It's got 6 missile hard points. You can do 6 Therm 4 on that one. If you want to see what that kind of damage will do, downside of the Bushwhacker is that it is ground bound, so you won't be able to use the jump jets to get over things, but it's probably more durable than what the Dervish will be eventually. But for the 8D, since all the missiles are in the side torsos, we could go full on into these missiles, put a bunch of them on there, get a bunch of ammo, get a huge engine, additional jump jets, strip the arms down so we don't have to worry about them, and then we can just go ham with those missiles. It's less missiles, less firepower, because we aren't using the energy weapons. However, we're going to make those missiles go further. We're going to use them for as long as possible. And that would work as well. But alternatively, right now, you can see what that would be like, essentially, by getting a Griffin 2N, and you can actually have ECM with it. So this 8D doesn't really surprise me or, motivate me to play it when I'm probably going to get a Griffin because I want the ECM with it. But, them's the breaks. Moving on to the reinforcements. We have the DV6MR. We have a total of 6 energy, 3 in each arm, and then a pair of missile. Now, you could do some sort of energy-based design, a bunch of pulse lasers, and just go full-on energy and a couple of rocket launchers in each side torso, and do whatever you want there. This is the energy variant, and it's the only one that has this amount where it actually makes, 6 energy is enough energy weapons to do a pure laser design. However, they're all in the arm, and if we look here, the arms are kind of low down and they're kind of spread out, so it's not really that nice to have all of those weaponry in the arm. It's going to be maybe a little bit of an annoying thing for it. So, alternatively, again, we can ignore the arms. We can just go with those 2 missile, 1 in each side torso, and sort of hypothesizing about quirks for this, because the 6MR has such few amount of missile hardpoints compared to the rest of them, this one potentially has some missile quirks. Of course, we don't know what their quirks are yet. They will announce those on the week prior to them coming out. But we could do like a mini IV4 build on this thing with like a pair of MRM30s. Now, I do know that an MRM40 and an MRM20, that combination is the same amount of missiles, but is actually a ton lighter. But I like things that are symmetrical. So 230s makes me feel happy inside that the way a 40 and a 20 will never. Just, I don't know why. It's just me. So, we got an XL280, couple jump jets, extra heat sinks, a bunch of MRM ammo, and you're basically playing a IV4 quick draw. But we are lighter by a few tons. It's the exact same playstyle. It's drop the merms, maneuver. Use those jump jets, use that torso twisting, keep maneuvering, and just keep on going. And like I said, alternatively, you can do an energy-based design, but I just think there's better mediums, especially because this 55-ton inner sphere is so saturated with mediums. There's better ones to do that on, so we don't need to do it on the Dervish. Next up is the 7P, and this one is essentially a combination of the 6M and 7D, where it has the 7D's arms with an energy and 2 missile, and then instead of the missiles here, it has energies. So it has 4 energy across the mech, 1 energy in each arm, 1 energy in each side torso, then 2 missiles in each arm for a total of 4. The 7D is essentially a 6M that is repositioned with its hardpoints, and so it is like the 6M, 4 SERM 6 and 4 medium lasers, 4 SERM 6 and 4 medium lasers. It works. It's a splat build. We have the variation between some of the SERMs being torso mounted and being, you know, that little bit tighter for their clustering versus the SRMs being arm mounted and being able to flick your shots a bit better, maybe track into a light's legs a little bit better, or shoot around a corner a little bit better because they're all on the arms, but also they're going to be wider and lower, so they may get in the way of things. There's trade-offs of whether or not you want them arm mounted like this, or torso mounted partially, or even fully torso mounted like this. Because this one, you could do 4 SERM 6 and 4 medium lasers as well. I just decided to go full on with the SERMs in this one for the massively upgraded engine with the XL325. So that's what I said in the beginning of this. A lot of these builds that I came up with this thing are just samey because the hardpoints are so similar to each other. You can do all these exact same builds, like on 4 medium lasers, 4 SERM 6 on half of them, and it'll work. So, because of that, I don't really see a reason to get the reinforcements. The 6MR, there's better energy mechs in the 55-ton category for the inner sphere, and the 7P is essentially a remix of the 6M and 7D and stuff like that. So there's no real reason to get it, in my mind. Last up is the hero, the FR Frenzy. This one's crazy. 8 missiles across the mech, 2 in each arm, 2 in each side torso. Inner sphere paquette, anyone? It's essentially what this is. And you could do a reasonable build with SERM 4s or maybe some 6s and 2s, like 4 SERM 6 in the torsos and SERM 2s in the arms. You have the DPS in the arms and big hit in the torso or whatever you want to do it. But you know, you have 8 missile hardpoints. You have a frickin' 55-ton mech with it. You're gonna do the memes. You're gonna put 8 SERM 6 on this thing. Like, fire 4x4 so you get around the heat scaling of it, but still, holy tits, this thing is going to do a lot of damage. It's slow, it's fragile with an XL engine, it has low amount of ammo, it's got bad heat efficiency, but it has essentially twice as much firepower as its tonnage, which is stupid. That's what this thing will do. It'll just be like a one-shot wonder kind of deal. Like, you could put 8 rockets on this thing and then just sort of go, hasta la vista, baby, and blow somebody apart. That is what this mech will do. It's for the memes. The memes. Also, you could do a bunch of MERM 10s because they're the same weight as SERM 6s, or you could do mass LRM 5s and just chain fire them and cackle from the distance. You could do all sorts of weird things with this mech. Most likely, the more effective SRM designs are going to cut a little bit of them. Maybe just do 6. Maybe change them all to 4s, or I don't know what you're going to do exactly. But as far as I know, the 8 SRM 6 will be the memes, because that's what is that? That's like the Cyclops 10Q or whatever it is, the one with mass SRMs. You have that firepower, but in a mech that is like 40 tons lighter, which is stupid. There's obviously drawbacks to this build, but I want to guarantee like the first 48 hours after this mech comes out, one of the YouTubers or streamers will have a video of them doing 8 SERM 6, because it will be done. Because it is the meme. But anyway, this one is the only really one that's like, wow, that's interesting. It's literally the first inner sphere medium that is capable of doing something like this. All the other ones have topped out at 6 before. Like if we go into the mech DB here, we get up a new one, and we just say inner sphere, and we start racking up the amount of missiles here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's only 3. An Archer, a Marauder 2, and now the Dervish. So this is the lightest. The next one in mediums at this amount of missiles is the Bushwhacker P1 and another Dervish. So yeah, this thing has the most missiles of any medium ever, except, well, for the inner sphere side. So yeah, that's kind of fun. But let's head back here, zoom up to the concept art and take a look at it. So important to note, as far as I understand, this is going to have missile bay doors. Now, I'm kind of contentious about these missile bay doors because I find them really annoying. Once you press the button, they take like a quarter second to open and then your weapon fires. So if I'm trying to lead somebody, I want my weapon to fire the moment I press the button because I'm lining up a shot perfectly. And having that quarter second missile bay door open always screws up my shots. So I tend to just always run with my missile bay doors open because I just can't handle that lag. The downside is that missile bay doors are supposed to provide, like, I can't remember exactly the numbers here, but like a 10% damage reduction on that component when they're closed. So I completely bypassed the idea of having missile bay doors and just using them for the damage reduction. So you can do that or not, but personally I'm just going to open my missile bay doors the moment the match starts because I don't want to wait for them to open because then it's lag and I can't handle that and then my shots will miss, and I'd rather hit my shots than get a percentage damage reduction. Alternatively than that, it's a relatively humanoid medium. I don't know. It depends on how far into these side torsos the side torso is. Because if it's really easy to pop a side torso, like if the center torso is this head part here and then it comes in and goes back out, and these side torsos are as bulbous as they look, the sides might be pretty easy to hit, in which case this thing won't be that XL friendly. But if it's got fairly even but very vertical torsos, it could be pretty easy to spread damage, which would make it XL decent, XL safe. So it really depends on where those hitboxes are in the end of whether or not how safe this is going to be with an XL engine. You kind of want the XL engine anyway because you kind of need the firepower, especially if you're going to do some sort of those like mass SRM meme builds up close. You're just going to delete the person before they can actually kill you. So you don't have to worry about your hitboxes if the enemy shooting you is dead. Like I said before about the arms, they are down and low hung in that sense. They're not too bad. If we look at where the actuator is, it's actually fairly midway through the torso. So these arms won't be like cataphract level where they're hanging down by the thighs of the mech. They'll be more up near the hips, so it won't be too bad. But the good part about it is that the missiles on the torsos, or at least the torso mounted hardpoints, they look nice and high. So this thing would probably be very good. Like we had the build like here with the 8D with just the missiles in the side torso. It probably doesn't have to expose very much over a ridgeline or a building to get a volley of missiles in. So this could be a fairly decent, say, close range peak brawler using its jump jets to peek over cover. Other than that, it's just a standard humanoid type design, like an enforcer, a little bit bigger sort of thing. Overall, I just think this mech's too samey for all the different things on it. Like every single build design that I've shown here, every single one of these practically fits on every single one of these mechs. Like you can do these merms in the arms on this one if you wish. You can do these serms in these one's arms. Like you can do whatever you want. with this one. Just mix on some amount of SRMs and medium lasers or medium pulse, and the thing will perform fine. But is that new and unique? Not really. I think if you want to have this mech and you want to pre-order it, specifically because it also comes with a month of premium time and such, you can get the standard pack to get the majority of the stuff, and then the Frenzy, because the Frenzy's different. It's got those 8 missiles, which is something that has not occurred yet. But the reinforcements are completely passable, and if the standard variants don't catch your attention, because they can be essentially replicated on mechs that are currently in the game, like the Griffin 2N or the Bushwhacker P1, if that's the right Bushwhacker variant, you could just miss this mech and wait for the hero to come out for MC. Because if you buy the hero through this package, it's $15. However, you have to buy the $20 package in order to unlock the ability to buy the mech for $15. If you buy it with MC, assuming 250 MC per dollar ratio, of course that depends on how big of a package you get and whether or not it's during a sale or anything like that, the mech itself, when it comes out for MC, will be $16.50. So not that much more expensive just to buy the mech for MC when it comes out for sale. And then also, if you wanted to, you could just wait for an MC sale, get MC at a better value, and then just wait for the hero to go on sale to get it at a better value, and then you can pick it up for like $5. But you're going to have to wait probably a year for that to occur, or whatever it is. So, it's your choice at this moment. It's not really anything new, but it'll function. If you're looking for an IS, like a top of the weight class in the IS mediums, for another brawler type mech, this will function absolutely fine. But it doesn't bring anything new to the table, except for the hero. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and good hunting.